So, what movie?
The anime.
I got spoiled.
I think it's backwards because I think it's a boy and his beast when it should be a beast and a boy.
I would, but I might, but I still got work to do, so that's probably going to be a no. Sadly, I think it's
the boy and his beast. I got a ton of work to do because I gotta get my room back. And I'm doing the con thing in the morning.
Oh.
My room's a storage shed right now, and I live in it.
Well,
the only thing that makes it a room is the fact that I have a twin bed.
At least you got a bed, though.
Yeah, I know.
So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
You got that going for you.
All the rest is taken up. And of course the line of sight to the TV when I lay in the bed is clear, so that's all that matters for right now. Yeah, it's
as long as that's clear. The new Ghostbusters trailer dropped.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
You haven't seen it?
I heard it's really good.
It's actually really good. It actually makes me want to see it.
I don't have a problem with remakes until I see them. Like RoboCop remake, okay, cool, remake it. That movie fucking sucked.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
That movie it had little tiny bits of this is really cool.
I haven't seen the first one the original so many times, and then the subsequent sequels. It's just seeing the remake. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
You should have come when I put it up to see the original down at
yeah.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, I should have.
It was so much fun.
I kind of like the second one a little bit better.
Yeah, I do too, but it didn't have a choice.
Yeah, no, I hear
There's nothing in the first one. I like the second one just because it's like
I like the little.
Everybody knows who RoboCop is. Go.
If more Batman and Superman movies were like that, they'd be way different.
Yeah.
Their franchises may not have died off every now and again, such as like Bryan Singer and Superman, Joel Schumacher Batman, who are essentially on a mission to destroy those franchises.
Well, not on a mission. He just had mandates from the studio because it was big and it was successful. So it's like the toy company came in and said, "You got to do this," and he's like, "I'm making a movie." He's like, "No, you got to do this."
Well, I mean, with Batman, it was only so many years after the Tim Burton, Michael Keaton Batman,
and it's all supposed to be the same one. 7 movies.
Supposedly, I don't buy it.
7 movies and 4.5 for good.
Yeah. I don't buy it. It's all supposed to be the same, but no.
Like Spider-Man's got 5 movies and 2.5 for good.
I'll give you that.
And that second Spider-Man movie is like the guy's version of a chick flick.
Second meaning Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield?
That second with Andrew Garfield. The only good thing
that's
the half.
That one was supposed to be so good, and I can make it. And I'd say about half of it. I agree with that. About half of it is fantastic.
Yeah, well, it's that and amazing.
And then Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
As soon as Jamie Foxx shows up as Electro, I'm like, oh shit, I'm on board.
Yeah, he was good.
All right.
He was just like, oh. Yeah,
but it just kind of fell apart, like halfway through. You lose Emma Stone, and it's all kind of a bummer.
It was good,
with Tobey, I just got tired of the Tobey Maguire ones.
Yeah.
I was just sick of them after a while.
And then like the Tobey Maguire one at the end of the third one, you're like, you completely fucked up Venom.
Yeah.
This is the guy that killed Uncle Ben, and you're just like, it's cool. I killed somebody too. Don't even sweat it.
I'm not buying that.
No, this is a chance for you to make another mistake and be more about justice. Yeah.
I don't know. With the Tobey Maguire ones, you could when I remember when the third one was coming out, the third one, and they were interviewing all the actors prior to it being released, and they were talking about how much fun was it to make, and how much fun was it to get back together with the old gang again. Franco, can we get a minute? How much fun was it? And all of them, without skipping a beat, were all like, well, we had to.
Yeah, and then you watch it, and when they talk good about it, you're like generic checklist of praising people. Oh, they're wonderful artists, and like, you're not talking about the movie you made. This is a piece.
Yeah, no, I mean the third one, all the key actors, Toby and Kirsten and Franco, they were all like, yeah, we signed a contract, so we kind of had to. and I guess we're gonna do it. So it'll be out next week or something. Anyway, anybody want to see the next movie I'm gonna do, which has nothing to do with Spider-Man? Please. They all just were like sad and sick of having to do this shit again.
Well, apparently on the heels of Deadpool, they're gonna make a Venom movie. It's
the
gonna
fuck
be,
out
it's
of
gonna
here,
be
really?
a standalone Venom movie.
I'd be into that.
I'd
be into that. I like to see that. I like to see more like fucking just villain movies.
Yeah, because I mean, Venom's like I hate to say it, especially in light of my marriage. Venom's like the girl fucking the girl supervillain because he's all fucked up because of all his emotions because he shared all this great time with this actual hero. And they wound up on this guy that hated this actual hero.
So because he's emotional, he's a girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're thinking about that.
Societally and statistically speaking, emotional. Being more emotional about things and your motivations.
Careful, you're about to be sexist. Well,
I'm not. I'm taking perceptions of.
All right.
I don't even have to caveat it. It's just perceptions of because Venom's whole thing was he only hated Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he wanted to protect innocent people from Spider-Man because he hated Spider-Man. That was his whole thing.
They give all these villains.
So he was completely emotional.
They give all these villains now all these little backstories that are all meaning well.
Yeah.
And some of them are just fabricated, and some of them do like reach back into the comics. But
like
Gotham, I've just been binging like a motherfucker on Gotham. I love me some Gotham.
I watched it. And
it's the second season where it just takes the fuck off.
See, I got right up until the episode right before they introduced the Joker, and all of the shit that's going on in my life happened. So it's kind of like fuck it, I'll come back to it because I'll just fucking come back to it.
All right, well then I'll try not to give you spoilers. I can only tell you that season 2, man.
Season 2
comes alive.
As far as I know, season 2 is everybody shows up, all the villains, Dr. Freeze shows up. All the villains almost completely fleshed out show up.
Well, because all through season 1, did you see season 1?
I saw most of season 1.
Okay, so you're aware that Selena Kyle's in it.
Yeah.
Cobblepot's in it. Yeah. Clearly.
I kind of really was digging.
I'm digging Cobblepot.
Yeah, I was really digging it, and Gordon at the same time.
Not digging. Not digged. I continue to dig Cobblepot. The kid who does that, whatever the hell his name is.
I think the last episode
does a great job.
The last episode I saw was where a whole bunch of shit goes down.
Okay, that's every episode.
He's put that girl into, I want to say Marconi, but I know it's not Marconi.
Put that girl into...
The girl that reminded the mob boss of his wife.
Okay.
And she's playing a part, and Fish Mooney put her in there.
Yeah.
Cobblepot's also working with her.
She auditions as a dancer or singer for
and then,
Fish.
Like at the end of the episode, Cobblepot meets up with the mob boss, like telling everything that's going on. That was the last thing I remember.
Okay. Well,
and I like it because
Cobblepot
like kid saying "fuck you." No, I know how all this works. I just haven't been able to make it work, and now I'm starting to make it work.
All right. Well, I mean, Penguin switches sides left and right.
Oh yeah,
that's just what he does, which makes him interesting to watch because he just bounces back and forth. Drink break. The dude playing Cobblepot. Fucking awesome.
Yeah, he was
fucking
great
awesome
from the start.
Just right from day one, he's awesome.
And the fact that his nickname came from the way that he walks.
Well, yeah. And that he's rocking the he's rocking the tux.
Oh yeah.
And I mean he sticks with the tux. I'm like fucking hey man, that's what you got to do. It's part of canon. You got to do that.
That was actually one of those. That character aside, my age thing, the whole getting back out, that was one of those things where I was like, no, I'm always going to dress up whenever I go out, because I'm too old to not. If that makes sense.
No?
Like I know how to dress myself, so I'm always going to dress well.
Sure it does. Sure it does.
Yeah.
Mountain, spring, water.
Yeah, dude.
That's my point.
Like when Lisa and I went to go see Zoolander, I'm like, dress fancy.
Because we're going to movies, it's an event.
No, because we're going to see Zoolander.
Oh.
And you gotta dress fancy. And the movie was horrible. She was almost falling asleep, like leaning the other way and shit. And I'm like, you dress fancy because you're wearing like high heel wedges and shit, and tights and a sweater and shit. And I'm like, thank you. She's like, I didn't dress up. I'm like, yeah, you did. Thank you. Thank you. We're still fucking cool as fuck. Yeah, fuck yeah.
I have not ventured into Zoolander 2.
Horrible.
I've been advised not to.
Horrible.
And so not really waste. It's swing and a miss. So all right.
I wouldn't even say a swing.
Really?
I'd just say a
It was a bunt, and he missed on that, huh? Use all the baseball terms.
It's one of those movies for all you could have done from what you built on in the first one. For some reason, you didn't go back and watch the first one and build on it.
Yeah, you see.
You just went. I got a bunch of movie to make a. I got a bunch of money to make a movie.
Let's redo Zoolander.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, but you see, they did the sequel to Anchorman because people were begging for it, and they did it, and it didn't get nearly as good as reviews as the first one. However, I saw it in the theater. I thought it was fucking hysterical. I thought it was great.
I still haven't seen both either of those movies.
The fuck out of here, really?
Mm-hmm.
What? Why not?
I lost them.
Oh.
I lost them when I lost those hard drives, so I got to come back.
I'll give you copies of them.
No, I mean it's not a problem, but it's like the first Zoolander had that thing where that
Ben Stiller was still like
that deeply shallow thing where the looks of a model can influence the reality of the world around him, and that was cool because it came to pass in the movie. This one, the new one there's a bloodline of absolute beauty, immortality. Zoolander's kid happens to be it, and he's a fat kid that's actually smart, like infinitely smarter than his dad.
Sure.
So that weird dynamic back and forth, but then it just falls apart inside of all this, like, I hate to say actual bullshit.
Okay.
Like artistic people doing things because they know they're not artistic, but they just have to be outrageous, so that gets them by.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just
all right.
It's a movie. It's almost, I'd almost have to say the Interstellar of comedies.
The Interstellar of
Because
comedy.
it keeps falling down on itself, trying to tell you how cool it is.
You really didn't like Interstellar,
I
huh?
fucking hated Interstellar. Because for me, Interstellar...
You didn't like Interstellar at all.
No, I hated Interstellar because Interstellar kept falling down on itself because it did that... This is a really great movie. I'm going to take you right to the edge, but I'm not going to let you leap off and do something. I'm going to take it and make it fucking concrete, and it all falls apart.
Okay, you know where this goes. You tell me. Where should you leap off to? You know where this line of reasoning goes with us. Where should it go?
In Interstellar,
yeah.
Where you should be able to leap off is when the lead character is falling into the black hole.
Yeah.
And they're showing all like little things to like realize, oh, this is the fire back at the farm.
So McConaughey's going through
McConaughey's falling into the black hole.
Yeah.
He's the dead weight that's allowed them, and like my physics mind is working like beautifully. Like
let Anne Hathaway
this
get
is
away.
what you have to do. I'm saving her so she can save humanity. I'm falling into the black hole. I'm falling into oblivion. I'm going to exist in a place that I have no influence over the rest of the universe. You see the little spark. We're going into Matthew McConaughey's mind. Then it turns into that big Tesseract thing, which was pretty. But then it falls apart because how do you communicate the calculations to navigate a black hole in Morse code on a second hand on a fucking watch?
You're just saying that the logic breaks down because of it. And you know what? I'm not going to fight you on that because I always had a problem with that, which was everything's going to be done in Morse code. And how long was that going to take? But presumably,
I mean, for me, the movie, it's one of those movies that you that you go and see in theaters a bunch of times, and you see it enough times that you walk out right when the movie you want to see is starting, and then you're done. I did that. I learned that trick with an old girlfriend in the Matrix movies, the last Matrix movie.
Okay.
There's a point in the movie where you just walk out and you leave.
Okay.
And you go, what if the story was this? Because I don't fucking care. Because what you showed me fucking destroys it. and since then, with the editing thing, I'd say for Interstellar, that point is when he's falling into the black hole and you first hear Tar's voice, cut everything between that and him waking up in the hospital. Cut all that out.
Cut all that out.
Cut all that out, and then you get the.
Okay, so we're led to believe that Jessica Chastain had.
You don't know what happened.
Figured everything out on her own.
No, you don't know what happened, and you just cut to him waking up in the hospital.
Okay.
And then the forced exposition of, we found you floating around Saturn after we did all that takes care of the rest of the story. And then he runs off to go. I don't even know because there was no love implied, but the love's implied when he goes off to be with Anne Hathaway.
What breaks down then is the fact that he's probably not going to be alive anymore because we're led to believe that construct that he falls into was something that was built by people of the future.
Yeah.
The whole alien thing, I never bought going in. When they kept saying, aliens built it, aliens was built it, I never bought that. Because you know what? It's Chris Nolan. I don't get aliens from him.
Well, see,
I don't get that. I get this is going to circle back to this ghost thing, which is going to be somebody from the future.
The movie breaks down.
Yeah, but
even on the most cursory.
Yeah, but if you skip
because it's intergalactic.
If you skip that whole construct thing where he goes through the Tesseract looking thing, then he's just going through a black hole. Now, you can make the case. Nobody knows what happens when you go through a black hole.
Yeah, and that's
however,
the point is.
If you want to go by logic and you want to go by hey, this is what happens. This is physics. Well, he's not going to survive.
Okay,
he wouldn't survive. So unless we think that listen, that area has been built so that he can go through it and survive and be able to come back to the other side and essentially help save humanity that way.
Well, the thing is, a large enough black hole will not destroy you.
Okay.
That's like the physics in the back of my mind kicking in, and that's why for me it works. If you cut from when he first starts falling in the black hole,
I'll call him out on that one.
So the problem being solved, and the whole. Humans have evolved to the point where they're interdimensional beings and they occupy the fourth dimension and they have control over it. It's just it falls apart because that's where it falls apart for me because it's
Listen, as Nolan is a filmmaker, he's got to be able to throw a four-dimensional space up on a two-dimensional screen. That was the challenge that he gave to himself to do that. So what comes through is that contract because the fourth dimension is time.
Well, no, it's not time.
Yes, it is. That's the fourth dimension. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No, it's actually not.
Okay, to your mind, what is the fourth dimension?
The fourth dimension is being able to travel through time at your own will because we already travel through the fourth dimension.
Which is time. We're traveling through the fourth dimension currently, which is time. Yeah.
What I'm saying is for that movie.
That's why I tease everybody who goes to a 3D movie. I'm like, every movie is either a 3D or a 4D movie. Because it's a 2D movie, then it's really 3D because that third dimension now has just been demoted to time. Because there's a beginning, middle, and end. It's time. That is the fourth dimension.
I summed up the movie by saying this. And actually, it's actually on the patio of the Merc. I basically said I actually got people to go and want to see the movie because of what I said about it. I said it's like talking to a hot chick.
You didn't like this movie, but you were the best salesman for it.
No, I know, and I wanted them to understand what I was saying because I didn't do what I'm doing with you. Like this is what should happen. I said the movie is like talking to a hot chick all night long, thinking that you're going to score, and then she takes 2 steps, falls on her face, drunk as fuck, and she's so drunk. you don't even want to fucking bother with it anymore.
Wow.
But right up until she falls on her face, it's fantastic.
Wow,
and you don't even care that you're going to score.
rough.
It's just a fantastic experience.
That's rough.
Because he like betrayed the trust that his audience has given him all these years by
This
over-explaining.
is the kind of description I say for a sequel to one of the Police Academy sequels.
And I'd almost say he pulled...
That's rough.
I'd almost say...
You're a tough reviewer.
I'd almost say he pulled the guy. He fucking over-explained something that didn't need to be explained.
Well, that's you, my friend.
Yeah.
But no, this was Nolan making his 2001. This was Nolan being Stanley Kubrick.
And it wasn't even close.
This
That
was his
the
version.
problem. It wasn't even close. Fucking, shit. I always forget the name of it. It wasn't Lucy. It was that other movie with Scarlett Johansson. That was closer.
That's every movie.
But that was too far the other way.
It wasn't Lucy, but it's the other movie with... You mean Under the Skin?
Yes. Which was too far the other way.
Why do you think I pulled that name out of a hat? How do you think I did that?
Because it was the same year.
It was, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it was the only other movie that I know for a fact you wouldn't be able to come up with the name of.
No, I love that movie, but it was too far the other way. You did realize things in hindsight after the fact, but the purpose of everything was never explained.
Okay.
Like in 2001.
You mean like 2001?
2001, the purpose of everything was never explained, but you wanted to know the purpose, and you could come up with your own.
You don't give that credit to Interstellar?
No, and I don't give that credit
whatsoever
to Under the Skin, because it was. There is such a thing as too ambiguous, and there's such a thing as over-explaining.
Yeah.
Under the Skin was too ambiguous. Interstellar.
Yeah, but you're just talking about why the alien was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're questioning the alien's motives, and you know what? I think anybody who wasn't staring at naked Scarlett Johansson, which was almost nobody.
I did love.
I'm sure anybody that looked at it without looking at it as a movie where you get to see a topless Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Anybody who looked at it as just a movie, I'm sure would be questioning that too. Like, what is the purpose of this alien that keeps showing up
we
and
need
essentially being a slut?
You understood,
and then a homicidal slut.
You understood why she was there.
I didn't.
You didn't know. She was there to replace the person before her. That was almost obvious because the motorcycle.
Get that. The motorcycle bitch was Scarlett Johansson.
No, the motorcycle guy was like the
Was that a fucking dude?
Yeah.
I thought that was Scarlett Johansson's body.
No.
I thought it was a motorcycle. I thought it was.
Out.
See, I thought that was the real Scarlett Johansson. She was on the motorcycle.
No.
Then she got picked off by the alien. The alien jumped in her skin, and then started going around slutting it up, and then killing all these people.
The motorcycle guy.
It was a dude. I don't remember a motorcycle dude in the beginning.
No. The motorcycle guy was the motorcycle guy was like the. The motorcycle guy was like in charge of the mission. Scarlett Johansson was on the mission. Because he brought in the body, she stripped down naked, she put on the skin. And I do the one thing I love about that movie.
For the fact that she's all alone.
But when she fucks up and strays from whatever she's supposed to be doing, the motorcycle guy shows up to take care of things. The motorcycle guy always kind of shows up.
Yeah, but okay. I didn't get that he was an alien. What I got was he was some dude just like keeping tabs on her and like interested in her or something like that.
No.
I got more of a stocky vibe.
He was the boss.
He was.
He was the boss that she worked for. Almost, I don't. Another way could be like he was the producer.
Was that the same dude? Lights Are on Fire.
No.
That was some.
He was some
guy.
He was gone at that point because he didn't know where she was.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't get that.
And then there's
I got it as she killed the person on the motorcycle, took over her skin, meaning that was Scarlett Johansson's.
No, he brought
skin, and then the alien walked around in Scarlett Johansson's skin, killing everybody.
See, what I got was at the beginning of the movie, he brought the previous person who was doing the job in because they had failed.
I don't remember him at the beginning of the movie. I just remember her coming out of the ditch and then just taking off.
He's at the beginning of the movie. He brings the previous person in. Scarlett Johansson comes down. She's
all right.
I have to watch it again.
Yeah, me
but
too.
basically, she takes that chick's place.
Okay.
And does the same thing, but he's like the overseer.
Okay.
Like, in movie terms, he's the producer. Scarlett Johansson's the director. She gets to do whatever she wants to get the job done, but she reports to him.
He sounds like her caseworker. Jesus.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that too.
Her AA sponsor.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Scarlett Johansson got a creepy, slutty homicide vibe going, and decided to just troll around town, picking up dudes, killing them.
And that was the thing too. They didn't have what. There's like on the rewrite thing. There's little things in that should have happened in that movie to bring it out, but because of the way that they filmed it after the fact.
Well,
They're like, oh hey, sign this thing because you're in our movie, and now you get to be in our movie instead of.
I think
we're making a movie. Let's actually make a movie.
She signed up for a British indie, thinking like, okay, this kid or guy, whoever, this young kid, this young British individual is going to be the next who. Take your pick.
No, he wanted to be the next Kubrick.
Kubrick?
That's obvious.
He definitely wanted to be. Yeah, it definitely had that vibe. Mm-hmm. But the one that was better was Bronson. Holy shit!
I still have.
You gotta do that. You'd love that.
Yeah.
That couldn't be more of a Kubrick movie.
Yeah.
I swear you'd think Kubrick directed
Wait,
it.
did you like Lucy?
I liked Lucy.
Did you understand Lucy?
In the fact that it followed the story, yeah.
Yeah, like you like.
I didn't get lost. I got the story.
When the things that most people would be like, that doesn't make sense, you're like, no, that makes perfect sense. Like I remember watching it, and I'm like, this is the best adaptation of Ghost in the Shell that we can get, because when you acquire infinite knowledge
I follow along. I got
and
the story.
Infinite capability, petty things like revenge on the person that fucked you over don't matter because you're completely above them. And everybody's like, oh, she didn't do this, she didn't do that. I'm like, no, she doesn't fucking care.
No, she felt it
doesn't matter.
No, she specifically felt less and less emotion as she got more and more in depth with her brain power.
Well, yeah,
because she still gave her shit about her roommate for a short time.
Well, her emotion.
She did. Where she's like, oh yeah, she's like on the internet, she's absorbing information. And the roommate walks in and she starts just repeating all her saying her lines all out.
For me, she didn't get.
But then when she's about to leave, she's like, hey, you know what? You need to eat a little better, change your lifestyle a little bit, stop doing drugs, eat a little better, eat organic, and you'll be fine. And she takes off. And I'm like, you know what? That was like one little spark, one shred of emotion she still had left.
See, for me, her emotions didn't go away. Her emotions became actually useful.
I didn't get that at all. I thought
for me, her emotions became actually useful because she still had them.
I got the idea she went full fucking Spock.
No. For me, I got the idea that her emotions became more actually useful because the useless ones were like, if she knew she could control, like she had Matrix-like powers. And she felt things, but she felt them on a different level, as in utilitarian. Her emotions became utilitarian, where if she couldn't actually help somebody right away, she didn't bother with it. If she could, she would, like with the roommate.
Yeah, no, I get that, but the fact that she was still on the mission of it's logical to give this to humanity. It's logical to. Well, I didn't get that as an emotional response. I got that more of it like, okay, this is logical. This is what should happen. As I still understand that I am human currently, I need to do this before I turn into I turn into the blob.
Before I turn into a black hard drive, yeah.
Well,
before I turn into Ghost in the Shell, because I watched it with a friend and we're like, that was a fucking great adaptation of Ghost in the Shell. Somebody who acquires infinite knowledge and wants to share it because of their emotional. For me, their emotional responsibility to try to help people if they can.
Okay.
For me, that's an emotional response because if you acquire infinite knowledge and you don't have an emotional thing, you don't care if it helps people.
Okay, so you're thinking it would surely just be selfish.
Yeah, well, not even selfish.
It would just be self-interest. Okay.
Like for me, almost devoid of emotion means not caring what happens and only wanting to see what happens, which in itself is kind of emotional too, which is self-centered. But the old quote unquote, the ultimate expression of emotions is trying to help yourself and other people. Trying to help yourself and other people.
Well,
emotionless is not caring if you help other people.
Okay.
Does that kind of make sense?
You don't think it would be logical to help your own species?
But
do you think that is just the motion of compassion?
At that point, they're not her own species because at a fundamental level, even her DNA has changed. She's literally a different being.
Okay, but what did Morgan Freeman get out of all this at the end? At the end of Lucy, what did Morgan Freeman
Well,
get
in the context of the movie being right about the levels and abilities that a person gains as their use of their brain becomes more conscious and goes up.
Okay, so she just became more and more selfish and self-centered, a lot of self-interest.
In his viewpoint, but in
his viewpoint, he was learning as watching this happen because he's got an actual example of what happens when you get to 100%.
She became more focused on the possibilities of her potential and fulfilling that, which actually is an emotional response as opposed to pure exploration for herself.
Which also seems like an emotional response.
There is a slight difference.
That's not an emotion? Self-interest, self-preservation? That's an emotion.
Is it an emotion or is it a fact of is that a side effect of
think
being alive?
You mean that's just like a natural instinct?
Yeah, natural instinct.
You just can't shake, no matter how far you deviate from emotion.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Because even the most.
She had a gun to her head right at the very end, and right at the very last second she turns into.
Yeah, but she knew what the outcome was going to be.
Yeah,
she knew what the outcome.
She knew before the dude could pull the trigger.
Yeah, she knew what the outcome was going to be. As soon as her full potential was reached, and she had to take a step back from that because she realized what she had to do.
Right, and her motivation was strictly reaching her full potential. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got that. That still seems like a selfish, which I would count as kind of an emotion.
See, I'd say you could call it selfish if it were not for the fact that reaching her full potential had to be realized in a way that she could pass it on to somebody else.
Okay.
That passing on to somebody else is an emotional response to make things better, try to help if you can, as opposed to not caring what happens as a result of it.
Okay. Yeah. We'll leave it there. You should check out the new Ghostbusters trailer.
Okay.
Jumping right into Ghostbusters.
Wait, have you and
you should check that out. It takes place after the original events. It's not a reboot.
So it's a continuation.
It's a continuation. It is by all means necessary a sequel.
It's a completely beautiful female empowerment of a comedy story to just be a comedy story that just happens to have 4 female leads.
I don't know if you're going to see Dan Aykroyd get oral sex from a ghost in this one.
I don't care. I literally don't care.
However, it is plainly obvious it's going to be funny. Because the first two were funny.
It's been said, Pixels could have been the new Ghostbusters. Were it not for fucking Adam Sandler and literally not giving a fuck.
Well, I mean, because Adam Sandler, Adam Sandler movies, he's all about Netflix now.
Yeah.
Because he kind of went to, Hollywood studio jail.
Yeah.
And no one, after, Pixels and Jack and Jill, nobody wanted to touch him. So he just signed the deal with Netflix, and now he does everything with Netflix. I tried watching his most recent one.
See, I still remember...
It's almost unwatchable.
I still remember most or all of my favorite bit of Adam Sandler, and it was... What was it? It was Elvis Lives in My Refrigerator.
Oh, okay.
From the MTV half-hour comedy.
Sure. You're going back.
Elvis lives in my fridge, and it's every time I open my fridge, it's I'm the king, and he's like... I remember the specific line, hey dude, I just want some lettuce. I don't fucking care that you're Elvis in my fridge. And I've always found that familiar, obviously, because it's stuck in my mind. I haven't seen it in literally 20 years, but it's just
I'm sure that's a YouTube.
I'm sure it's out there, but it was
somewhere
great.
Channel somewhere dedicated to it.
My favorite movie of Adam Sandler's is Little Nicky. Love that.
That was your favorite of all the Sandler? Really?
That and Punch Drunk Love.
Which was not a comedy.
No, it was not even.
Oh, you just said favorite movie. I think
those are my 2 favorite movies of his.
Wasn't Punch Drunk Steven Soderbergh? Wasn't that?
I remember.
Isn't that a Soderbergh movie?
At the time, directors didn't matter. Who I saw.
I'm pretty sure that was a Steven Soderbergh movie.
I wouldn't doubt it, but that's a
definitely.
I
vaguely remember it. I'm pretty sure that was Soderbergh.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to see.
But yeah, that was his big, that dramatic.
Yeah, and it
role.
was fucking great because
No, it was good.
My favorite part of that movie is when they're talking about sex in violence metaphors.
Yes.
When she's just like,
That was
I want to fucking cut your fucking head off, and he's like, I want to bite your fucking eye off. And I'm like,
I just like seeing him.
Wrong with me?
I like him seeing him working in that fucking warehouse and shit, and dealing with all the bullshit of this stupid warehouse.
Or his whole, I know.
Yeah. Like all the time.
And like people have said, there's a Superman allegory in there because he's dressed in all blue with a white shirt and a red tie.
You think so? I don't see Sandler quite as a Man of Steel.
I see it a little bit because of his unwavering determination to put things right for all of his bullshit. Like traveling to the place that fucked him over for the sex hotline and saying this shit needs to end.
Yeah.
And like getting in the car accident and fighting people. And
yeah.
It's like yeah.
I can see that. But I can also see that just being a Steven Soderbergh movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I really Little Nicky in that one.
Yeah, I love
Happy
Little
Gilmore,
Nicky.
Billy Madison. These are so
really,
further down the line.
They're really fun and good movies, but Little Nicky is that, and it probably harkens
Why
back
Little
to
Nicky?
me. Probably Little Nicky, probably because of that fuck you religion thing.
Just because of
that fuck you religion thing, and the son of the devil is half angel, and all of that's complete bullshit, and the devil understands that it's okay that his son is half angel and that his son is fucked up, and he's like, I don't know, I probably have to watch it again, and it's probably tied to a girl.
Probably.
It's actually tied to a girl.
It is.
And the reality of that whole fucking love thing. I don't care. It's still one of my favorite movies.
Come in,
actually for me.
Get in the flask. The whole movie.
Yeah.
Get in the flask. Get in the flask.
and like the cast, everything was just so great. Like,
well, the cast was great.
He's pretending to be the Pope, and he has to stand on a pizza because he's from hell.
Who was it? It was Michael. What was his name? The big brother. The big.
Zeus.
Tiny Zeus. That's what it was.
I think that was Tiny Lister. Yeah.
That was it. It was Tiny Lister.
Yeah.
And from of course Friday.
Oh hell yeah.
Fucking A.
You gotta hook the fuck out. Fuck yeah.
No, that was Tiny Zeus Lester. Right. Yeah. No, I mean. I don't. Nothing against Little Nicky. I wouldn't put it as top Sandler movie.
Not top. My favorite.
Your favorite.
And that's okay.
You know, I know it's all subjective.
Yeah,
but in your mind, you're crowning it like that. That would be tied for number one right there with Punch Drunk Love. Right. Top Sandler movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right.
And because there's just so much in it.
Okay.
When you take a common story, it's like fucking Deadpool. When you take a common story and you throw all this other stuff on top of it, and you can enjoy all the other stuff, that makes the common story that much better.
The man himself telling it like it is.
That's why I say you say the superhero genre can die out. I say it's going to take longer than you would think.
I say
it's going to take longer than you would think.
It's got a shelf life.
Yeah,
but
I say that the shelf life's longer because Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Listen, I won't.
Straight up, okay.
Listen, I won't be happy to see it go. I'm just saying it's got a shelf life, and that at some point, I don't think in the near future, at some point, it's gonna get overdone. I think at some point, I think a lot of the studios are still not smart enough to know that they're just gonna milk that cow dry one of these days, and they're not gonna try to ration it out nicely.
Yeah, the thing I think that will have the longest lasting.
Sadly, I think Sony's probably the worst one at it.
Oh yeah, they're horrible at it.
I mean, I used to think the mouse. But there's, Marvel can do no wrong at this point. I mean, they just keep making movies for decades now.
The mouse has.
Sony was the ones who took on and then fucked up Fantastic Four. They took on and then essentially no matter how you cut it. That was Fox. All right, X-Men.
Sony is like
X-Men.
Sony is the example to.
As soon as they went to the spin-offs,
Sony is the example to heed. Fox is the example to not follow. Because I'll give you Bryan Singer back was X-Men, great. Deadpool, great.
Right.
Still got to pull it out later and catch up to the Mouse because the Mouse has.
Yeah, but Bryan Singer
Like-
Superman, awful.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, horrible. No, but Bryan Singer X-Men, good.
Yeah, Bryan Singer X-Men, good. But like I'm saying, that whole line is just running into the ground, sadly.
Yeah.
Sad. It's not the character's fault.
The next movie is failing or passing the test.
Well, yeah,
With Apocalypse.
yeah, we're gonna see.
Yeah.
We're gonna see. But ratings, I know, and ticket sales have not been stellar for like the last X-Men movie.
Yeah.
They weren't
But
fantastic.
the last X-Men movie was great because
The first ones were fantastic, and they made a shit ton of money.
The first.
I happily showed up again for Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to see the fucking Silver Surfer on screen. However,
and he was good, but you need Galactus.
Yeah.
Fuck up by not having Galactus.
It was
Galactus
missing
was
that.
a fucking
It was just
Galactus
missing that.
was like
It was missing
Anubis in Gods of Egypt.
What?
Galactus was like Anubis in Gods of Egypt, a big fucking
God.
cloud with some teeth on it.
I mean, we have to bring it up. Gods of Egypt.
Yeah.
Oh, good God. I can't believe we sat through that. I fell asleep.
Yeah,
I tried. You nudged me.
I was like, oh, this is so horrible. You got to be awake for how bad this is.
I fell asleep during the action parts. Too.
Yeah,
I missed plot points because of that. And you know what? I don't feel like I lost anything. I felt I lost when I walked in the theater. But as far as the plot, I don't think I lost anything.
Yeah,
it was just so bad.
Yeah.
The director came out and he started like Twitter blasting about how he was like critics and they're all wrong and this is a really great movie and you don't understand and it's like, listen, I get this. This is your shot, but understand. This was you and Universal trying to make a movie. Maybe you should just do this one as an indie with a smaller budget, and it would have been a better movie. But
for me,
I don't know who changed what that he got all pissed about, but it sucked.
Any Twitter blasting he could do would be undone with this simple fucking phrase. Dude, you fucking made The Crow. You made The Crow, okay? One of the most badass comic book movies of all fucking time.
Yeah.
One of the first R-rated comic book movies.
Yeah, one of.
One of the most badass comic movies of all fucking time.
Yeah, one of them.
And now you're making this shit. If you had made this movie in the 60s or the 70s, it would be heralded as one of the greatest movies ever made.
You mean with the effects?
No, with
any movie.
With everything. If you had made that movie in the 50s or the 60s or even up into the 70s, it could be forgiven for your cast, but your cast is what destroyed it.
60s and 70s,
your fucking Roman god Seth? What? In your supposed purity,
I still think
setting?
I still think it would fall down. I mean, if you want to go with just the fact that we're completely whitewashing the film with the cast. Yeah, no, 60s is where that belongs because
60s and 70s because 70s could get away with it and it would literally have had some quirky musical tripped out psychedelic
in
number,
70s I would have skipped this one, walked right over to the theater next to it and seen the blaxploitation movie, whatever it happened to be playing that week, and seen that, so I could go check out I would have rather gone to a Pam Grier movie next door if it was the 70s.
See, for me, I'll put it up there.
I don't think it's got legs like that. I don't think so. Well, 60s. I mean, you're talking like early 60s.
I'm saying
50s, 60s. We're talking like Ben-Hur, Ten Commandments.
Yes, but
you're
going
to start toying with the Egyptians. I mean, those are what you'd be almost directly following.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
You think this would hold up after?
I'm saying
movies?
the fact that the movie got made so focused on a specific mythology and exploring it, the whitewashing would have been overlooked.
I know, but
the whitewashing would have continued over into the extras.
Yeah, hear what I'm saying though.
And your one or two black characters would have been heralded, probably got Oscars or nominated because just for the sole reason that they were in the movie, had it been made in the 60s or the 70s.
Okay, let's focus on the 60s because you be coming in off of the heels of, let's say, Ben-Hur and Ten Commandments. So you're going to be looking at movies that dealt with Egypt, dealt with Rome.
Yeah, but they dealt with whitewashed Western Christian Egypt, and not actual Egypt.
Right on target. Right on target. Red 5. Good job. That is exactly right. Mm-hmm. So when you've got a movie that centers around Egyptian mythology, which could be mistaken for religion by the wrong audience in the 60s, I don't think that movie would ever get made in the 60s.
Yeah.
I think if you like went to MGM in the 60s and be like, hey, we want you to do this, they'd be like, are you out of your mind? They're like, we're only going to do any movie that deals with Egypt has to strictly deal with Christianity.
But see,
and that's it.
The reason that
I think they would skip right over it. As soon as you start saying like, well, these are real gods, it's real, they'd be like, no, that sounds blasphemous.
Okay, the simple reason that it could have gotten made is because it would be so obtusely outside of the Christian thing, and because at the end of the movie, basically, those gods all failed to conquer the world and conquer the universe.
Yeah, but Christianity didn't win in the end.
Yeah,
and that's
but that was the perception that Christianity did.
At that time, that's what they want to see on screen.
It would serve to reinforce, because then you could say in the context of the movie and in the bigger public eye, that's what happened before Christianity, like a prequel. That's what would get your movie made.
So this would be Ben-Hur. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Maybe, I guess.
I'd almost even say
if you got a sexy white, of course, because it's the 60s and it's Hollywood. Cleopatra walking around.
Yeah, and that's heralded as one of the greatest movies ever made, Cleopatra, and it's all white women. Yeah. Well, ironically enough, and it's got Richard Burton in it.
Well, yeah. Look at the time. Look at when they were making those movies. Look at the time when Othello came out. We need a black guy. What are we going to do? Oh, we get a white actor and we put blackface on him.
Oh God, Othello!
But because it's Laurence Olivier, you get away with it. So.
Yeah, I remember Othello from my English. I can actually say this because it actually happened in English class in college. English teacher saying, "Why don't people like Othello?" And I think I was stoned, or I was sober, or I was sober enough, or I was hungover.
And did you say because the black guy is white?
No, I said because. Why don't?
It's kind of insulting.
Oh, it's like why don't people like Othello? No movie, just like literally. And I'm like because he's black. Straight up, because he's black.
Did you bring a white hood to class that day? Or?
No. I'm like, because he's black, and black people.
Did you explain your remark?
No, I said.
Or did you go directly to the principal's office?
No, I was straight up.
It's not that because he's black, it's because he's a Muslim.
Oh, there you go.
Well, no, no.
That's why people don't like Othello, because he's Muslim. They don't care about his skin color.
There was caveat inside of the context of the comment, because I was hungover, stoned, wasted, or whatever. I was 2 years deep in college. I'm like, because he's black, and even now, black is represented as the unknown, and people are afraid of the unknown because they don't fucking know if they can handle it. And that's what I said in the middle of class in complete silence. And then we all started talking about it.
Well, good for you for bringing the point up and creating awareness.
Yeah.
While being kind of stoned and hungover.
Yeah. Well, it's that thing that I've had my entire life because I'm half black, and when people find out, they're like, "Oh shit, I'm a fucking asshole." I'm like, "Yeah, you're a fucking asshole. I'll probably never talk to you again." Enjoy fond memories of how fucking cool it was hanging out with a guy and not liking him now because you're an asshole. Yeah.
Wow, this just got dark.
No,
forgive the term.
It's a fun thing.
It's got all self-reflective all this.
The term doesn't apply.
You're opening up.
It's a funny thing.
We should put you on a couch.
No, it's a funny thing.
Dig into this. Do you have like hundreds of years of aggression built up deep inside?
No, I have. I
have to ask.
I have hundreds of years
because I thought it was just gin.
No, I have hundreds of years of.
I think it's just gin.
It's like unconscious.
But okay.
It's unconscious relief because I'm always going to tell you who I am, straight up front, crazy, whatever.
Yeah, you're on Front Street.
Know?
Sure.
And at the same time, I'm only ever going to tell you what I want you to know.
You are the fucking CIA.
I'm only going to ever tell you what I want you to know. And then, because I've created the atmosphere of you thinking you get to know everything about me, you're going to tell me everything about you. And then if you're a racist piece of shit, the conversations are just going to end. You're cool, but I already know that about you, and we're done. And that's it. And like I've said, and I'm pretty sure I said this to you.
Yeah.
I only look like a white guy. My mother is Turkish, and I'd almost have to say full-blooded Turkish.
Okay.
My father's black.
Okay.
I just happen to look this way, but I'm completely not a white guy.
Okay.
I'm in this weird biological disguise.
I gotta ask, what'd you put down in your college application?
I think shit.
And just so you know, the follow-up question is, what'd you put down in your last job application? So let's stick with the college one.
White, non-Caucasian.
White non-Caucasian. That was listed on your job application.
I think so. Yeah.
That was on.
As the years pass, it gets more specific.
It totally does.
Almost to the point where I could put white, not of Earth.
White, not of Earth.
Not of Earth. Yeah.
Well, if we colonize Mars.
Yeah, because I like every time I see that, I'm like, well. Theoretically speaking, I would have to put black, but I don't look black, so people would think I'm trying to take advantage of being a minority. I am actually a minority genetically and biologically speaking, but I don't look that way and I don't act that way because of how I was raised, so white non-Caucasian.
See, if I were you...
White non-Hispanic.
I would try to... if I were you, I would try to reshoot in real life the fantastic, wonderful opus of starring C. Thomas Howell called Soul Man.
Yeah, I love that movie. That's kind of my life.
That's why I bring it up. That's why I bring it up. I love that movie. There's no way in hell you can make that movie again. Well, actually, let me think about that. Actually, let me think about that.
That's based on a sociological experiment.
I think you. Let me take that back. I think you could make that movie again.
But because motherfucker's really cool.
Because it is entirely based around a sociological experiment. Except the experiment is for him to get into Harvard. If I got the school right, I don't think he was going to Yale. He wants to go into Harvard, right?
Harvard or Yale, but the actual experiment was a white guy took tanning pills that made his skin dark and black, and then he cut his hair really short, and he infiltrated a black community as a black guy.
That's right.
And saw what it was like to get treated like absolute shit.
And then he started,
this is fucked up.
No, he started dating the black girl.
Yeah.
Well, okay. The movie itself was a sociological experiment.
Yeah.
However, his journey, the hero's journey, was to get a free ride to Harvard.
It was completely exploitative by faking to be black to get ahead inside of that thing.
Let's look at this. I forget. I mean, he learns at the end. Well, he learns equality at the end. I don't remember. Does he ever actually learn that what he did was inherently wrong?
No, it's a typical.
I didn't get that.
It's a typical.
It's been many moons since I've seen that movie.
It's the typical '80s movie where he learns that he could get what he wanted anyways by not having to be something else.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's the underlying plot of every romantic comedy ever made, which is love was here all along. That's every romantic comedy movie. But does he ever actually? Because, like I said, many moons. Does it ever actually dawn on him that what he did was inherently wrong? I don't think it actually does. I remember it gets brought up to him when he gets found out.
I'm thinking about it,
but I don't think that actually sinks in. I think all that happens is he just overshadows the fact that he initially is criticized. He overshadows the fact of saying, "Yeah, but look, I'm due this scholarship, and I've learned equality. So let's not look at what I just did to cheat the system."
I think it winds up that he did. It's like I said, a typical '80s thing, which a lot of people overlook in the '80s thing by brushing it off because it's what all the fucking social justice warriors fight for tooth and nail, not understanding that it actually
right. But there are still those scholarships. They still exist. So if you tried to make that movie now, if you tried to redo that movie, and I'd be really interested in seeing it. I don't know if it could be done though. There's no way in hell you could get away with it at the end without having the lead character understand plainly that what he did was wrong, no matter what he learned along his way. Now, of course, the writer and director are going to want to take creative control, obviously, and say, well, listen, what it's really about is his journey and learning about equality from someone who really didn't know anything about it. But he didn't start out as a racist guy. So it wasn't like he changed from being somebody who was racist and now he understands.
Yeah, he was. In the
he didn't start off as a racist guy.
In the story, he was never racist. He just saw that he just thought he wasn't intelligent enough to get in, and he thought, if I exploit this loophole, I can get in.
Right.
He finds out, like in all 80s movies, he finds out he was intelligent enough to get in all along.
Right, but
And if you were to remake it now, you could like ditch the racism.
Well, no, that's
no. You couldn't ditch the racism.
There's no way in hell you're getting away with that.
You could,
no, you're gonna have
you
to.
You could twist it as he was never racist. But the system.
He wasn't racist in the original.
No, he wasn't racist. But the twist on
he was
it now,
just clueless.
The twist to make it now was he was clueless. Sorry, the twist then was he was clueless. The twist now was he knows that the system is racist, and he is actually not intelligent enough to get in. But he can learn, so he exploits the system to get in to fulfill his potential.
How is this not like how would this remake, like nowadays, not be a movie that is a huge like banner cry to people that are out there?
For which people?
For people who are out there today who hate affirmative action. Because there is a certain distinct percentage of our population that it just disagrees entirely with affirmative action, just hates it. So how is that movie, our fake movie that our new Stillman, how is that not just a movie that cries out to that audience and says, yeah, look at them, he's exploiting a system that is stupid.
Our fake movie our fake movie would be the double exploitation of knowing he can do it and exploiting the system and becoming a minority to exploit the system because he is actually not intelligent enough to get in on his own, but he's intelligent enough to exploit the knowledge that he'll gain once he gets there to be successful.
Right, but don't you think that people who do not agree with affirmative action would say, yeah, look, this kid was smart enough, and because of these rules, because of the color of his skin, he was denied this scholarship. If we didn't have affirmative action or things of that nature, where this is a scholarship that's only offered to black people.
But he's purposely handicapping himself to take advantage of that situation.
Right, and don't you feel that this is one of those ways that people will be like, yeah, see, look at that. It didn't matter the color of his skin. Affirmative action is bullshit. Don't you see how people could make that claim?
But see, at the end, what in our fictitious movie, in the end, what he's going to learn is that he never had to do that because what he could learn at any school is the same thing, and he winds up being equally successful.
The only reason he went
i.e., he takes advantage of the situation to get into a higher level, like a higher tier school.
Harvard,
but at the end, he learns that because who he is, he's going to be successful no matter what school he went to, and it doesn't matter. And we could even throw it out that he leaves the higher level school to go to a community college where it doesn't matter.
Why would he do that?
Because he realizes after he's taken everything, the higher level school is bullshit because they teach you the same things. It's only quote unquote the connection to that, and he doesn't want that because he's completely independent.
So you want him expelled from Harvard?
No, I want him to leave Harvard because he sees it's not going to help him in his goals. He thought it would.
His goal was to go to Harvard.
His goal was to go to Harvard because he thought of the benefits of going to Harvard, but he realizes for what he wants to do, those benefits don't exist outside of his education.
He wanted to go to Harvard so he could go do something for a living. And going to Harvard was kind of like a linchpin to that. Like, you needed to go to Harvard. So him leaving Harvard wouldn't do it.
But he realizes...
So you're saying that his priorities would now change.
His priorities would change because he realizes once he's in Harvard that his education is more important than having the name Harvard on it.
So what you'd have to have him do is that this is the only way this works. Because if he wanted to go to Harvard, I can't remember if he was going to be a doctor or a lawyer. Probably a lawyer. Who knows? It's Harvard. It's the 80s. They're almost always lawyers.
Yeah.
When Harvard's represented in a lot of 80s movies.
Yeah.
especially comedies, you'd have to say, okay, I'm going to ditch this law from Harvard and a very lucrative career, having gone through Harvard, and having this experience on my resume, that would set him up for a fantastic career working for the ACLU. For instance,
he realizes that,
or whoever, or the NAACP.
He realizes that what he wants to do requires an education, and the source of the education doesn't matter as much as the actual education matters. And he realizes that Harvard is a bunch of just bullshit.
Well,
it's just a name. It's a brand name.
I think he gets expelled.
And then he realizes that he didn't need to go to Harvard in the first place?
No, and then he realizes, I got expelled from Harvard, which was my end game goal.
Yeah.
I now realize what kind of lawyer I want to be. And
it doesn't need to have the name Harvard behind it.
And now he wants to be a lawyer, let's say, for the NAACP. Because now he's learned so... Well, because what? For 2 hours, let's say, of learning what it's like to walk in the shoes of an African American, he's not going to get sympathetic,
Yeah.
He's going to be sympathetic, or he's going to be an asshole. He's going to the other two. So
he almost has to be a psychopath where his goal overrides what he does to get it, and then he realizes that his goal was wrong in the first place for what he wants to do.
I think he starts out more of a sociopath. Because at a certain point, in the original, he understands what he's doing is wrong.
Yeah.
But he's so in deep, after a while, he can't do anything.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what a sociopath does? They're clearly aware
their goals matter more than what they do to get there.
They're clearly aware what they're doing is wrong. But they do it anyway.
Yeah.
As opposed to a psychopath who doesn't really
doesn't realize what they're doing
is wrong. Right. In their mind, it's the correct thing. So, if anything, he's a sociopath.
Yeah.
He's not killing anybody.
Yeah, but he's a sociopath. I don't want to say he's a sociopath, but then he becomes a psychopath because he realizes what he wants to do. But here's the thing
this sounds like a Hannibal Lecter movie. He's a sociopath.
But he realizes that what he wants to do doesn't require the brand name of Harvard, and he achieves it anyways. And he winds up doing it.
Why do you want to ditch Harvard so badly? You want to be able to throw the Ivy League under the bus.
Yeah, because it's bullshit.
Well, he's thrown away his career under the bus. Not a career, but a very nice lucrative. Because getting expelled from Harvard is a lot less lucrative than graduating from Harvard.
Here's the thing: he's thrown away what he thought he wanted.
So what does he do? What does he do in the end?
For what he actually wants.
You say he goes to a community college.
He goes to a community college, and he winds up becoming just as successful had he gone to Harvard.
Doing what?
Despite getting expelled.
Doing what?
That's the gist.
Well, because for all we know, he's going to fail out of community college.
Well, in the context of the story,
So how is he successful?
But like I said, the education he gets to achieve his goals is what matters, and he winds up achieving his goals regardless of going to Harvard. He becomes a top tier defense attorney for people who are actually innocent, as opposed to his Harvard peers. Who defend people who aren't actually innocent for the high-profile cases and the money.
So you're saying that's everybody that comes out of Harvard?
Yeah.
You hate the Ivy League.
I hate the bullshit that comes along with brand names.
That going to a good school tends to get you a better job.
That tends to get you more money, but not actually achieving what you wanted to do.
So you can't think of a good person that came out of the Ivy League.
Well, I'm not going to go that far.
It sounds like you are.
But the gist at the end of the thing is to take the brand name off the social message to send out. Is to take the brand name off of your education and emphasize the education so you actually go and get it instead of failing at getting the brand name.
Well, has his education turned into, I feel like we're circling here, but I think his education turns into that he learns equality, which is great. I don't know if that gets him any closer to being a lawyer. I think if anything, that would only crystallize what kind of lawyer he becomes, which is why I put it out to now he knows he wants to go and be a defense attorney or a prosecutor on behalf of the NAACP.
And we could start it off with
because that would make sense to me.
I'll even
now he's so sympathetic to African Americans, he wants to go work as a lawyer. But having graduated from Harvard, he is now a Harvard-educated lawyer that now goes and works at the NAACP, which is not the most profitable place you could go. That he could go.
Historically,
I mean, he could open a private practice and make more money. Who knows?
And I'll even say this is a little bit of myself, which throws in there if you're part of a club, that club protects itself. And that's why I say he goes out and actually defends clients who are actually innocent as opposed to people who pay him because they're not innocent. That kind of thing.
I think
that's the end of it. And
but that's more of an anti-lawyer thing. That doesn't have anything to do with race or the plot of the story of him going through.
Well, see, that's why I say the overall social message at the end is to go and get your education to achieve your goals, and basically deny the branding that comes with it because you'll still achieve your goals.
Let me ask you this: how does that movie end? Because I am very hazy on how that movie actually ends.
It ends with him turning down a client that he knows is guilty.
Wait.
For one that he knows is not.
Are you sure he was even a lawyer? Because I'm not sure he was even a lawyer. Pardon me.
No, we're going with the lawyer thing.
No, the original, the C. Thomas Howell.
I don't remember.
What happens to C. Thomas Howell at the end of the movie?
I don't remember.
Yeah, neither do I.
Well, I think he does exactly what I said, but because of its obtuse and...
See, I don't remember either.
The 80s had a lot of leftover hippie, everybody's cool and we thing in it. So the racism thing was far more. It was.
Well, for those movies.
For those movies, it was far more.
For the B movie comedies. Yeah.
Well, the racist thing in the 80s was more, and I know how this sounds, was more subliminally prevalent. So the attempt at something, the attempt was never made because it would fail.
We're going deep on this one.
Yeah.
We're going we're going more than the proverbial skin deep. We were talking just about.
The attempt of things, almost kind of like when people harken back to, like the 50s were so great because people knew their place. No, people just didn't attempt it because they knew they weren't possible.
You know my position on that one. When people say that, the 50s, it's always an old guy.
Well, no, I don't agree with that. No, I don't agree with that.
No, okay.
That's the result of that perception.
No, I know, but I notice that the only people who end up saying that are always white guys, old white guys.
Yeah.
Well, I think right then and there, it's not because people knew their place. I think that's something that they say.
It's not because things were actually great. It's because
it was great for them specifically.
Yeah.
Straight white males, straight white Christian males. It was great for those people. Yeah, no, it's drink time. So
I'll be right back. I got it.
All right. We're taking a drink break to refill.
Take a piss too. I'll be back.
And a piss break. All right.
Are we closed out?